Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Peter. It's Wednesday, you know what that means. Another weekly Wednesday live stream. So it's just me today, or is it? It's not. It's like magic. No, it's not really. Eric is sitting quite a bit of distance away. It's about 5 meters roughly, because we do keep
maybe 6.
Yeah, I mean, we want to be
Hello,
further
everybody.
away. No, but we do take the whole social distancing thing seriously. Obviously, here we're in the Netherlands. There's still some.
Do I look big?
Well, a lot of things going on around the virus. Unfortunately, hopefully it's getting better soon. But in the meantime, we'll just try and resume our live streams, our weekly live streams, as normally as we can. So yeah, even though it looks like Eric is really there, he's not really there. I mean, I can't push him. It's.
This is Peter. I know you don't watch each week, but this joke Ja's making each week.
Is it really?
Something similar. Ja's doing magic, like boom, then he's there.
Yeah. Well, you know, for Eric, it's more of a thing
A
that
punch ball.
he can see these cards here, and he really likes, you know, touching hardware, but right now he can't. And this is really bothering him more than you think.
Yeah, if you're going to unscrew something,
well,
I want to disassemble stuff.
You know, I do have a screwdriver here, and you can take it. Go on. Try it. No. Anyway, social distancing, yes, indeed. So yeah, again, you know, all jokes aside, we do take it seriously, and we hope all of you guys are also safe and doing what you have to do to stay safe. But let's focus on some fun things, because you know it's all the time in the news and stuff. Everything is about this thing. So let's focus on some fun things.
Let's focus on the giveaway.
Yes, let's focus first on the giveaway. I already saw some people asking about it. Yes, we have a giveaway, of course. $20 Steam codes. If you want to participate, there is a link being spammed in the chat every now and again. If you can't see it, your best bet is to go to either our Twitch channel or YouTube.
Or ask me.
Or just ask Eric, indeed. Because some of the channels that we stream on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, so a lot of them. Some of them don't really like us posting links, so that's why sometimes you won't see them. But you can usually find them either on our website, so msi.com/2/insider, or in the chat on Twitch and YouTube. Is usually a safe bet. There it'll work. So yeah, and there are $20 Steam codes, so a couple of times during the stream we will draw a winner completely at random. If you go to that link, you have to perform a couple of actions. The more actions you perform, the better your chance of winning. That's how it works. You only have to do it once every stream, and then you're in for the draw for the rest of the stream. That's it.
DJ Epic has to go game.
Oh my God, it's, yeah, you know.
Well, we will also play some game, right?
Yes, yeah. I mean, good luck. I don't know what kind of game you have to do. It sounds like you're serious about it.
Yeah,
because you
serious.
have to attend the game, so might be a competitive game. I don't know. If so, good luck, and I hope you win. And if you finish soon enough, you can rejoin the stream and see if you've won anything. Anyway, why we're here today. We've got a brand new card, and it's a
fast one.
RTX 2080 Ti, and that's not really new, I know. But the thing that's new about it,
it's super fast.
I mean, it was already the fastest card, basically, or the fastest GPU for graphics cards on the market. And we made it even faster. Out of the box, let's say. You know, of course, you can make it faster by overclocking and do all kinds of crazy stuff. But out of the box, we made it faster. And how did we do that? Because we put faster memory on it. Don't forget, the RTX 20 series, so the 2080 Ti included, is already, what is it, about 2 years ago that it launched, almost?
Yeah.
Right? So, and back in those days, the memory speed, normal speed basically, for those cards was 14 Gbps. So Gbps, of course, gigabit per second. Very fast, obviously. But in the meantime, I mean, you know, 2 years' time, pretty much, there's a lot of developments, and there is also some faster memory available now. We already saw it on some supercars, I think, or maybe some special overclocking cards had some of these faster RAM modules.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, we thought, why not, basically? So we made it even faster. And I've got one of the, it's a gaming X Trio or gaming Z
only
Trio card.
2080 Ti on the market with this memory, right?
As far as we know, yes. It's the only 2080 Ti with 16 gigabit per second memory. Now, that's not to say that other cards can't reach 16 gigabit per second effective speed, because by overclocking memory, you can get pretty much close to it, or maybe even cross that boundary. However, and I've seen some of these questions already that people thought, yeah, it's just a card that overclocked out of the box. You've got it's 14 Gbps memory modules, and you've overclocked it to a stable 16. No, that in this case is not the case. So these cards, actually, the Gaming Z Trio, will actually have 16 Gbps spec'd memory modules. So these are actually higher spec memory modules than the ones that are on the Gaming X Trio, for example, which are 14.
This is also not, I mean, I saw somebody on the internet, they took their card and they already soldered them on, right?
Yeah. So this was, I think, well over Brazil a year ago, I think. Some crazy guys, I think it was Tech Lab, they were called, Brazilian, if I'm not mistaken. And these crazy guys, really, what they did was they took indeed a 2080 Ti, and there was a certain model which was using 16 Gbps memory modules back then. They took it off, I think it was a 2080 Super or something, or a normal 2080. So they took it off that PCB, and then they soldered it onto the 2080 Ti to see what would happen. Or I think in their mind, they wanted to create a 2080 Ti Super or something like that. To be clear, this is not a 2080 Ti Super. There is no such thing as far as we know. Though this is the 2080 Ti with the fastest memory. But yeah, they did that. They made it work, which was already quite impressive, to be honest, because soldering something like memory modules on is not easy, let me tell you. But they made it work. And yeah, I mean, it was a nice performance boost, but this was a one-off, it was like a Frankenstein thing. They did it, and I think they were as surprised as everybody that it actually worked as well, because it was a really crazy idea.
Let me check. I see some people saying that the giveaway is closed. I don't believe that.
Anyway,
2 hours left.
Eric will dive into that for you guys. But yeah, and we already saw that back then, and we thought, yeah, it's crazy because 2080 Ti is already plenty fast, and But as time goes by, and let's just say after the whole avalanche of NVIDIA GPUs that launched, it's been relatively quiet for a while. And we already had one of the best 2080 Ti's on the market with the Gaming X Trio. So yeah, we thought, why not make it even faster? And it's, I think it's a limited amount that we created, obviously for several reasons. One, not everybody can afford a card like this. It's one of the most expensive cards on the market as well, being a 2080 Ti. But also, I mean, using the faster memory also makes it a bit more expensive, though what I've seen so far in the market is not that bad. Usually when you get to the really high end like this, the price-performance ratio kind of gets, to a linear level, it's an exponential level where, the performance gain is way smaller than what you have to pay extra. And I believe on one website I saw that they said, well, it's like around 6-7% more expensive than the Gaming X Trio on the market. And out of the box, we say on average it's about 5% faster. However, you can overclock the Gaming Z Trio a lot more as well, and especially the memory, because it's running at its base speed of 16 Gbps. But normally a 14 Gbps module you might be able to get up to a level of, say, 16. But then, I mean, it becomes a bit critical, right? You can run into stability issues and stuff like that because it's already running way over spec. With the 16 Gbps memory modules, you can overclock it a bit higher as well. So you've got plenty of headroom there. So in the end, I think, on average, probably around the same, like 6-7% faster should be attainable if you do a bit of overclocking and tweaking. I already see some questions there about, can it run Crysis Remastered? We don't know yet. I mean, we would love to find out.
Well, we have a bigger challenge today.
We have quite a good challenge today as well, indeed. And if you've looked in, if on some of the platforms where the games can be tagged, you'll already see that we've tagged Minecraft. Now you might say, Minecraft, that's not like a heavy GPU game, right? But they've done something to it, and I'm sure a lot of people have already seen it, and we will get to it later as well. We'll show you. But they've introduced ray tracing to it. So kind of like they took the Quake. What was it, Quake 2, I think? Yeah, Quake 2, and applied the full RTX on it a while ago, and we displayed that as well. They kind of did something similar to Minecraft, and it's really cool, especially if you mix those, you know.
Well, I think Minecraft took another step, because this is path ray tracing, so it's not. You cannot compare it with the previous Quake 2. No.
It's similar, as in they took something that is definitely not ray traced and looks not at all graphics intensive, and they applied the most advanced and some like hyper realistic things to it,
and they made it graphic intensive.
They made it hella graphics intensive. Yes.
Peter, sorry to interrupt you. A few topics. First of all, somebody was saying that the giveaway wasn't working. This was because there was an old link in the chat. I tried to remove it on most platforms. Another person asking on Periscope or Twitter, how can I join your giveaway? Well, you know, the spam bot cannot put a link to all the platforms, so please best to join us on YouTube. That works for 100% sure.
Twitch as well, if you prefer that one.
Yeah, and I saw an interesting question. Which MSI product should I get to get the most performance out of it? Which one to combine? Well, that really depends. I mean, if you take this kind of VGA card, you don't want it to be bottlenecked by your CPU, so you also need to have a fast CPU. But normally, if you look at price levels, I always say, I always say like mainboard should be half of your CPU, and CPU maybe half of your GPU.
In terms of pricing, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, because both graphics cards and motherboards have become, let's just say, more expensive in the high end. So I don't know if that like golden rule still applies, because they don't maybe follow the same pattern. But it's been like that for a long time. What I always say is, especially, just look at what you have to spend, but also what are you expecting? What kind of games are you playing? What resolution? That's very important, because obviously if you're playing at 4K, you're going to need something very different than if you plan to play at 1080p all the time. And also what kind of games, because if you play the more, competitive titles, take a Counter-Strike or Valorant or something like that, you don't need quite as much graphics horsepower, but you will need a more beefy CPU, because you will be relying more on a lot of frames per second, which means your CPU is doing all the draw calls. And the more frames you have per second, that puts more of a strain on your CPU, because it has to issue out all the draw calls to the graphics card for each individual frame. So if you're playing higher FPS games, probably you're gonna have to focus a bit more on your CPU and make sure that one is up to the task. And if you want to play full ray tracing games, or the latest games with higher graphics, I don't know, Red Dead Redemption was one of the examples as well. The upcoming Cyberpunk, for example, we expect to be very graphics intensive. For those, pretty much doesn't really matter if you even if you want to play at 1080p, but you're gonna have to be looking at something like a 2060 or more to be running that stably at a smooth FPS. So let's just add that. We are always trying to aim for like 60 at least, because below that, for PC users it becomes a bit more not so smooth. So for us, not really something we would recommend. Having a smooth game experience, we think, is quite important and really helps to enjoy the games a lot more. So that's what we base our advice on, pretty much. See if we get some nice questions in the chat as well. Workloads has changed. Everyone wants the gaming streaming. Yeah. So there's also a lot of gaming and streaming. With that, you also have a lot of choice, because obviously both on the CPU front, but also on the GPU front, you've got a lot of streaming things and encoders and decoders going on. Turing especially also has really good and efficient decoders and encoders in there, which will help a lot if you're streaming during the gameplay.
Yeah, we also we always used to stream via CPU, but recently we switched to RTX and use the GPU with a new codec, NVEC.
Yeah, and that makes a big difference. So we speak from experience now as well, and you know, it is definitely, if you're into that, it's very much
it's fast and the quality is also good.
Yes.
And in the past, CPU quality of GPU quality used to lag behind the CPU quality.
Yeah.
But NVIDIA fixed that.
Nice green screen. Well, thanks.
It's green.
It is, yeah.
I can remove it.
No, probably best not to do that. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about the card itself, because obviously, well, the main difference on the gaming Z Trio is the memory speed, which gives it, well, like we said, on average about 5% faster speed out of the box compared to gaming X Trio. But we also wanted to show you just a little bit about, you know, if you are looking at different cards, why you should choose, or sorry, to help you choose, so which one you should choose. Now we have two very different models here. I see Eric is making himself
people are complaining.
bigger and smaller.
They think I should be either on a diet.
Ah.
Well, I should.
I think you should turn off the fisheye lens or something like that. Maybe that's what's making a difference. So I've got two very different parts of the graphics card spectrum within MSI here as well. So this is the gaming Z Trio here, and this is of course a Ventus card. Both are 2080 Ti's, but as you can see, the coolers are quite different. So one is a lot bigger than the other, the gaming one. This is down to a couple of things. One is cooling, and the other one is more technical, more of an engineering standpoint. So also the PCB is different. Because the Ventus cards will also be a bit more affordable than the gaming card, and that's down to a couple of things. Again, one is the cooling, so there's a bit less material, a bit less metal used here. The cooling is still very good, but not quite as good as the gaming. So this one will be more silent and more cool during your gameplay. But the Ventus also is using a reference style PCB. So that's basically saying that we, for this type of card, we use the blueprint from NVIDIA. Of course, we add a few of our things into the mix. It's being produced in our factory, so that means that we do change some of the materials and some of the capacitors around, for example, where we want to ensure a certain level of quality. So you will find a lot of the same components individually on both these cards, and that's down to the quality. But also, if you look at the PCB, for example, we might beef it up with a couple of extra layers or different, slightly different layout. But the PCB size, therefore, is also different. And the best way I can show that to you is by showing also the backplate. Because basically, the backplate of the gaming card kind of follows the PCB outline. And in some places, here you can see it, even the PCB is basically sticking out a little bit. But it's much taller, the PCB. It's much thicker. It also usually, the gaming cards have a bit of more layers to the PCB, which allows for more, well, electrical circuitry and signals to be carried out, also isolated from each other, which is better for the signal quality. But also the bigger PCB allows for more components, which in turn then allows for a better and more stable power delivery system and VRM, for example. But also it helps to, in some way, dissipate the heat a bit more, because obviously there's a bigger surface area. So that also helps to keep the card a little bit more cool, besides, of course, the massive cooling solution that we have sitting on top of here. And even the backplate, which this generation also helps to cool the card a little bit. It acts like a passive heatsink, because we have got some of these thermal pads located.
Why you look at me?
In between. Sorry?
You were looking at me.
Yeah, because I don't want you to touch it. No. Yeah, so big difference between these cards. and you will see some of that in the pricing as well. And if we go, I've prepared a few slides where I can tell you a few of these differences. So obviously this is the Gaming Z Trio you can see behind me. But the heatsink as well has a lot of little things. So this is the gaming heatsink, and as you can see, it's got this wave pattern going on at the top. This is one of the features we put on this generation's gaming heatsinks to kind of aid the airflow to go down into the heatsink more smoothly. So basically the idea here is that if you know how aerodynamics works, if you hit a flat surface, it's going to have some of that air hit it, and then it will start like, circling around, which is kind of like turbulence, and that you will hear as a whoosh noise. By having the heatsink more like a wave, the air will hit it and then dissipate more smoothly, basically. So less turbulence, less whoosh noise, less noise is kind of the clue. Yeah,
it is very difficult to show via the webcam.
It is, yes.
Because it's really hidden and it's below the fan blades.
Yeah, I mean we have thought about doing it like with a smoke machine or something like that, but it's you would also need a really high-speed camera and stuff like that. So maybe we can see if we can do something like that in the future. It is really cool stuff. I've seen some of it in some footage and some pictures of our engineers doing it in their laboratories. And
I told you, Peter, you should activate Windows. People notice it.
I know.
Maybe go a little bit like this.
I think it's, maybe it is activated. Well, this one is not activated, but we switch around components all the time, and that's when you get this.
Yeah.
So, can you water cool it? Yes, you can actually. I think we've done it in the past as well, and there are also prepared water-cooled versions, not of the Gaming Z Trio, but of the Gaming X Trio, for example. You have EK water blocks, full cover. Yeah. We even have like a hybrid solution, which is the Seahawk, the regular Seahawk, not the Seahawk EK. So yeah, there are plenty of options there for you. Both kind of like entry level, so you don't have to, with the Seahawk, the normal Seahawk, you don't have to do that much maintenance. Basically, you just install it and it water cools the GPU. And for the rest of the card, it has one radial fan which kind of blows air through it to cool the rest. So that's why we call it kind of like a hybrid solution.
I have a good question. People are asking if you replace the cooling with water cooling yourself, is this covered by warranty?
Yeah, I see the question as well.
Yeah.
It is, yes. And the reason why I'm thinking about it is because, well, the thing is, there's always a risk if you want to do it yourself.
It's not if you damage it.
Exactly. The thing is, it is unless you, in the process, you damage it.
Yes.
Because if our engineers, if our, how do you say it, return policy, the guys, the engineers who look at it, if you return it for RMA or something, and they notice that you have removed the heatsink, for example, or some of the screws, it doesn't automatically void your warranty, but it will cause them to look more closely into any damage caused. Because if that damage is, for example, caused by, I don't know, leaking water onto the PCB, or you scratching accidentally something with your screwdriver, you hitting it, or knocking a component off or something, and in the process damaging your card, then it will become user-created damage or user-caused damage, and that could void your warranty indeed. So if you do that, we do advise that you know what you're doing and you feel comfortable doing it. If not, if you don't do that, but you still want the water-cooled cards, that's exactly why we offer the pre-assembled EK water block cards. So that's the Seahawk EK models that we offer. So those are fully covered by warranty. You don't have to replace the block. It also has the added benefit of if you buy, for example, a Gaming X Trio separately and an EK water block, you're kind of, you have to take all this stuff off and maybe the back plate, and so that's going to waste, but you're still paying for it.
Peter,
buying one of these cards and an EK block separately is usually a lot more expensive than just going for the Seahawk EK model directly. So there's a lot of benefits to it.
Yeah, so I want to answer some questions. Someone is asking, can you please answer my question? Is this pre-recorded? Yeah, it is pre-recorded, sorry. No, this is not pre-recorded. He's talking about something like 3080 Ti. Is this not coming this year? Well, we don't know.
No.
And if we know, we are not allowed to tell.
No.
That's still NDA. But yeah, I mean, normally companies like Nvidia and AMD, they will introduce each new year new GPUs or a refresh. Yep. So no matter what, sometimes in the future there will be a new GPU. And so for people who purchase a VGA card, I think you need to watch to what you want. I mean, what resolution you're running, what FPS you expect to get, and then make a purchase decision. I also saw somebody mentioning the price. It used to be $1,200 now $1,400. Well, I think recently with all the COVID-19, Corona. Yeah. Social distancing, like Peter and me were doing. I should say like this, right, Peter?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Also, a lot of factories stopped producing materials. Shipment costs went a lot up. Shortage on some products. So this also has an impact on the price. Yeah. But hopefully after this all is done, and the situation goes back to more or less normal, then you can also expect pricing to go down because there will be more stock available in the channel. Yeah. Somebody else, let me see. Simon. Yeah, Simon, just contact us by phone. I'm sure you can find us our phone number in the phone book and you can visit us. We will fix something after all the COVID-19 is finished.
Yeah, it's probably best.
Yeah, because we're getting old. We need to watch out.
We're not getting younger, that's true. Yeah, so I saw some questions about also what's the point of a slightly faster 2080 Ti now? Well, what's the point in any faster graphics card? It's faster. It'll give you better performance. And that's the whole point. And we always try to see how can we make our cards faster, better for you guys so you can enjoy that performance. So that's the point, basically.
Yeah, so still some people talking about you better don't take the block off. Replace the cooler. Yeah, that's true. I mean, like what Peter said, we have completely out of the factory water-cooled cards. So if you go for water cooling, it's better to take that one. Otherwise, you pay originally for the original cooler, and then you need to buy a water cooling or for, let's say, a water block, and you need to replace it yourself, having the risk to damage it. And then it's damaged by user.
Yeah, and that indeed, if that's the case, then it won't be covered probably. But that's down to the engineers.
And if you know what you're doing, no problem.
Exactly. I mean, we've worked with a lot of professionals before, professional case modders, for example. We had Tim Warning, right? Yeah. One of the guys on here, and we actually did a live stream over a year ago, I think already. Oh, wow, time goes fast. Anyway, we did a whole live stream covering how you do the custom water cooling loop and the possibilities of it. So it's definitely okay to do it. Just make sure you know what you're doing and you're 100% sure you won't damage it. And otherwise, I mean, it's still, again, a really good option to buy the pre-assembled card because, again, you don't have the risk that you damage anything. It's covered by warranty and it's probably more cost efficient, so cheaper in the end than buying a card with a air cooler on it that you're not going to use anyway, and then separately buying a water block. So it makes a lot of sense to buy the pre-assembled card. It just saves you a lot of hassle.
Quick question about the mainboard B450 Pro of a Gaming Pro Carbon Max, when it will come out. Yeah, that should be already in the market, but depends on where you're located. Yeah. Please contact your reseller. Should already be in the market.
Indeed. So in most locations they should be in the shelves already, but if they're not in your location, you can always ask. Again, this is, I think, maybe one of the same things, that the whole situation that we have right now globally affects everything. And I mean, you know, the whole of China was on a lockdown for a couple of months at the beginning of this year. That means production was completely stopped, and it's all dependent on not just one factory, you know, being able to assemble these things, but also all the materials, the capacitors, the materials for the PCB, for example. So there's a lot of different suppliers that have to start up again for the process to work. So a lot of these things might have been delayed, unfortunately.
So many questions. I cannot keep up with the chat. Is Windows 3.1 supported? No, I don't think so. Sorry. All comes down to driver support.
3.1, wow, that's quite a stretch.
Not even 3.11.
No.
Edwin K is asking, can you replace the fans of air-cooled MSI graphics card? Technically, yes, but in reality, it will be difficult because you need to find the right fans.
Yeah.
They're custom made for us, so you need to find the right fans.
Yeah.
Right size. We also have some profile on there. Peter, maybe you can explain.
I don't think we sell them separately indeed.
No.
I mean, so these are, maybe you can show the close-up, then I can more easily show it. So these are the Torx fans, and Torx fans are basically identified by using two different types of fan blades. So here you can see this is what we call the regular type fan blade, which is a normal shape, as in there's nothing weird going on other than the little edges here, little fins on top of the fan, which help with the airflow. And then there's this fan here, and this is the dispersion fan blade, and it has you can recognize it by this little dip in the middle of the fan, basically. And again, this is something really aerodynamic that helps the air become get more focused at a certain spot, which influences the air pressure downwards, which again then helps to cool the card better. And also, you know, double ball bearings, all that kind of stuff. So it's indeed a custom-made fan for us. It's even patented, so there's nobody else that can make these fans. So yeah, I mean, if you want to replace some of these fans or get them, I don't know what the question was. Replace them or put them on a different card?
If you can replace them, yeah.
If you can replace them, that implies that maybe one of them is broken or something like that. If that's the case, best thing you can do is just try and see if you can get an RMA for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you know,
that's what the guys are there for.
But I mean, if you think they're broken because the fans stop every now and again, that's not the case. That should be a feature.
That is the case.
As long as they spin up again when your card heats up. That's the thing. I mean, you know, there is a zero fuzzer feature, which basically what it does is when the card goes below a certain temperature, I think it's 60, right? Something like that. In most cards it's 60, some cards it's a little bit different. The fans will stop spinning because then you really don't need cooling. The card can basically, with the airflow in your case, if you have good airflow, the card should get plenty of cooling. So if you're just in Windows or idling or watching a video or something like that, you know, you don't need the fans to spin up.
Is it heavy? Yeah, it's heavy.
It is. Well, it's kind of like. Maybe
you can show the specs on the website.
Yes, exactly. So I've actually I had the web page open here. So here we go. This is the product page, and I can even I've put a comparison. That's really easy to do on our website.
This card is made in our factories in Pcie in China.
Yeah.
And I also saw somebody asking if they can flash their if they can flash the current cards. No. Because there are new memory chips on there.
Oh, indeed. So what you can do is try to overclock the card you have and the memory. I mean, most of our memory, I think all of our memory is running at stock speeds out of the box, which means that you have quite a bit of headroom in memory overclocking. But this is a process you just have to do some trial and error. But these cards have indeed different memory modules than the Gaming X Trio, for example. So that if you would try to flash the VBIOS of the Gaming Z Trio on the Gaming X Trio, it probably will give you a lot of issues because the memory modules might even be a different brand. So it just wouldn't work in most cases. So it's probably not worth the trouble.
And these are the differences between the two cards,
yes,
right?
So these are the differences indeed. So here you can see basically, I mean, what lights up in red is basically
maybe show how people get here.
Sure. I mean, you can, if you go to MSI.com, there's our website, go to products. In this case, we're going to look at graphics cards and NVIDIA GPUs because it's an NVIDIA card. Then on the left side, you have to select the GPU you're going for, or you can select any of the other things you want to filter
there
on.
are a lot of 2080s.
Yeah, 2080 Ti's indeed. And here you can, I mean, there's a button on top of each one which says add to compare. So there you can very easily, I mean, here's the Gaming Z Trio, add to compare. And below that there's the Gaming X Trio, add to compare. And then you can just click compare, and there you have it. So that's, I mean, if you want to compare these cards on our website and see what is the difference between them, that's how you do it. Here you can clearly see the gaming Z Trio, so the right side, the memory speed is the big difference, 16 Gbps or gigabit per second versus 14 on the gaming X Trio, which was the default speed for all, basically all RTX 20 series cards for a long time.
I see there's another difference, Peter. HDCP support 2.2.
Yeah. Yeah, so sometimes we get a little bit different specs. Yes is kind of the same as 2.2.
Yes.
It's yeah.
So what was the weight?
Yeah, the weight. So it is indeed, if you look at, this is the card in the package. So the card itself is just over 1.5 kilograms.
Wow.
And for a graphics card, I mean, it might not sound like much. I mean, do you bench? Yeah, I mean, 50 kilograms, no problem. But, for a graphics card, 1.5 kilograms is quite a lot. I mean,
yes.
For this card also, in the box, you will find a graphics card support bracket which you can use in your case. You don't have to use it. It's not something that's required. But if you, for example, go to a lot of LAN parties, well, not right now maybe, but if you transport your PC, for example, then it can help to just keep the card a bit more stable in your case. But I mean, to be honest, if you just make sure you screw it into the case well and make sure it's connected well, there shouldn't be too much going on, especially if you don't ever move your case. It's not needed. Also, I'll show you in a bit as well. Graphics card sagging a couple of years ago was a big thing, where a part of the graphics card would basically deform, so it would become like a, I don't know how to call it, banana
So now
shape.
it's going to cost 2 kidneys instead of 1?
I don't know. I think actually the cost difference between the gaming X Trio 2080 Ti and gaming Z Trio was something like around $100 or something, which in a price point range of indeed like $1,400, that's not that much.
Jamal on YouTube is asking, so if I have the 2080 Ti Gaming X, can I use the 2080 Ti Gaming Z with SLI?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that should not be a problem.
That is a really good question. I mean, it has different memory. It will have the same amount.
It's no problem because one card will just run faster.
Yeah.
They're both 2080 Ti, so you can run them in SLI. Well, it's not called SLI anymore. How's it called now?
Well, it is actually, I think.
I don't know. I mean,
but to be honest, I mean, SLI for example, for games, for practical scenarios, it's not really used anymore, or not supported by a lot of games.
No.
And usually it's better to go for one very powerful card versus two less powerful ones.
Yeah, but he already has a powerful card, and maybe he's the one who wants to run 4K 144 or something.
But for what?
Well, there are games who support SLI and
there are.
Yeah,
there are.
Maybe Flight Simulator or something.
Yeah. So I mean, if you want to do it, probably I think it will work. But that's a good question actually. We didn't test that yet, so we might.
No, but technically it should work because the same GPU. One is just running a little bit faster. That's basically the same if you're running the same GPUs and one has higher clock speeds.
Yeah.
But in this case, I would use then the Gaming Z as the first card, because if you're running games which don't support SLI, you benefit from the memory speed. So let's maybe, Peter, talk a little bit more about
I still see a lot of people saying that the giveaway has ended, so I don't know if they are trying an old link or if you still have the same issue.
Yeah. Oh my God, how is that possible?
So we still have the same issue?
Yeah. Can you shut off your chat?
Yeah, let me see if that makes a difference. Unfortunately, then I won't be able to see the chat. But
no, and then open it up again. Because you had an old URL, and then you are spamming the old one, and I'm spamming the new one.
Ah, I see. Okay, so then we're mixing.
Sorry, guys.
Here.
I thought it was fixed by removing the.
Indeed. So we have the chat open on two different systems.
Yeah. Somebody is asking, will we do a giveaway with this card? How am I then going to play games at home? Oh, so many questions, so many questions.
And I think, indeed, I saw some guys saying giveaway time. I think you're right. I think it's maybe time for the first giveaway.
Yeah. Okay, so if you want to participate in the giveaway, well, find the right URL. But basically, if you go to msi.com/2/insider, you should see a button over there, join or participate in our giveaway. The first winner is Romana. Congratulations. In the coming days, you will get an email with a $20 Steam wallet code.
Yes. Congratulations there.
Minecraft, you cannot find a Steam, right? No, it's only in the store.
No, indeed. So it's a Windows
Pity, nice game.
Microsoft Store.
Yeah. So Peter, yeah.
Okay. So let's continue. So indeed, so we had to wait. Yeah, I mean the main difference is the memory.
Somebody, can you talk about X570 Tomahawk? Yeah, we can talk about it.
Well, it depends. What do you want to know?
Yeah, what do you want to know?
I mean, we just did talk about it.
I think we have it here, not?
Don't know. I don't see it here.
No, not here, but I mean in the office.
We should have, I think, yeah.
Okay,
an i5
you're welcome, Romana.
becomes bottlenecked with the 2080 Ti. Well, it really depends. I mean, if you the CPU only becomes really a bottleneck if you go for games with really high FPS usually. So if you want to try Minecraft RTX, for example, that will be, if you have an RTX card like 2080 Ti, it will still probably be, you know, the GPU that will bottleneck because it's so heavy on the GPU. And most other really graphics intensive games will have the same thing. So then your i5 should probably be okay. But if you want to play competitive games with really high FPS, then you're going to stress your CPU a lot more. So then you have the risk of your CPU becoming the bottleneck.
Release date.
Release date. This actually released on the 16th. So
Yes.
This was last week?
Yeah, it was last week Thursday, I guess.
Yeah, last week Thursday. So for most regions, I mean, it might not be in the shop yet.
We are always 1 week late with our live streams.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's on a Thursday it launched, so we only live stream on Wednesdays. So then we have to wait almost a week. All right, let's see if we can continue. Oh yeah, what I wanted to say, and I was addressing basically, is yes, these graphics cards are heavy. But you don't have to worry about stuff like GPU sagging again anymore for a long time already now. What we did is see if we can get into the close-up cam first, and then I can show you in a render as well. If you see this part here, this is the what we call the I/O bracket, and this part with these basically you put screws through here, which attaches to your case. So that's one point that you fix it to your computer. The second one is of course where you plug it in, so your PCIe slot or port here, so which is basically into your motherboard. On MSI motherboards, the PCIe slot is even armored and then has a lot more solder points, so they can actually support much heavier graphics cards. But if you combine these things already, you should have a pretty solid fit. And for the graphics card itself, I mean, sagging used to be an issue a long time ago, where graphics card, basically it was the PCB and the cooler. That was pretty much it. But that means that the PCB was also responsible for carrying the weight of the cooler. And so in time, sometimes the PCB would start deforming basically, or changing shape under the weight of the cooler. Because the graphics card in most cases will be mounted like this, which means the cooler is pretty much, you know, pulling downwards as well with gravity. So what we did is we created a combination of something that is used for cooling and strengthening the card. So we call it the anti-bending bracket / close quarters heatsink. So the anti-bending part is basically what you see here. This bracket, and it's quite thick. Let's see if I can, well, maybe hard to show you, but let's see. Here you go. So this is actually quite a thick bit of metal here. And that's attached to the I/O bracket, to the output bracket here. And then it goes right along basically the whole side of the card, or the length of the PCB. And then it's also screwed through to the backplate in a lot of places. Here you can see all the screws coming through. And that basically gives the PCB a lot of support, a lot of strength as well. So these cards are really rigid. They can't, if you try to twist them, there's just a little bit of flex of the cover basically, but the heatsink itself doesn't really budge. There's not not any space to move it. So it's really rigid. So also that's why when mounted, these cards, they won't start sagging. So they should remain straight as an arrow, like that. Really solid. And I've got some renders here that show the same thing. So if we go to the capture, here you see it basically. So you see the black part, that's the part I was showing you, and you can also see all the screw holes where it goes through to the backplate. And that really helps to strengthen the whole structure of the card. And if we remove that, then you can see the heatsink itself. And as you can see, well, of course you've got the GPU contact points right there. When the GPU is the part that of course creates the most heat. So that's why it's very important that that part is being cooled. I can also show you that in real life. Here we have a real life heatsink of a Gaming X Trio. So just to show you guys, I left the front on as well with the fans, just so you can see it really is a Gaming X Trio heatsink. And here, this is the GPU base plate, and it's a nickel-plated copper base plate. And what this does is this should cover at least the entirety of the GPU. It will catch all the heat and then pass it on to whatever is in contact with it, which obviously, most importantly at least, are the heat pipes. And as you can see, they are quite, well, they are flattened, but they're also squeezed really close together. Sorry?
Yeah, the focus.
Trying to see if I can focus.
It's kind of strange that I'm not in that shot. I should be in the background.
I know. But as you can see, there's very little space in between these. Now, a couple of generations ago, these were more rounded, and that means that in between each of the heat pipes, there was actually more space. And any space that you have between them actually is kind of wasted, because the more contact surface area you have, the more heat it will take. And then, I mean, the job of a heat pipe is not really to cool, it's more to transport the heat to different places of the heatsink. So you could see this like it's like a little tube, like like a little transport tube. And then the heat gets transported to the different areas of the heatsink. So, and there it will then be transferred into the fin array. And of course, as you can see the fan through it, and the fans will blow the air through the fins, and that's how the heat gets dissipated, basically. But this is quite massive as a heatsink, as you can see. And then you have this part here. This part is also flattened. This part is where the VRM, so that's kind of like the second hottest part of the card usually. Basically, this is like the power delivery components. So basically all the power that needs to get delivered to the GPU and the memory that's around it, and all the other parts, bits and pieces on the card, pretty much all of it goes through the power delivery components, the VRM. And that needs to be cooled very well as well. That's why we have a dedicated, also a base plate for that here, especially on the 2080 Ti, because that's of course the most high end. It will need the best and the most extensive VRM. So it has a dedicated plate there, and it runs all the way to where the connectors will be. So here you will have the power connectors usually connecting into the card. If you look at it on the card itself, that's these ones. And on a 2080 Ti, this is even this is 2x8, and then you've got another 6-pin as well. So it's a lot of power that can go into it. Let's see, what else can I tell you? I mean, oh yeah, here you can see also on the side of the heatsink here, there's these, well, little indentations basically, and these are in all the fins right along the heatsink. And what these do, these are basically standing out. Let's see if I turn it this way, you can see they're really like, yeah, it's not...
small details.
Yeah, these are small details, but still, it's really like they punch them from one side outwards towards the other. And what this does really is just guide the airflow. They're also shaped a little bit like an arrow shape. So the air will travel from the top down. It will hit the side, and then it will be deflected to where the heat pipes are, because obviously the heat pipes are transporting a lot of the heat, which means that the heat pipes themselves will be some of the hottest points in the heatsink. So the more air you can get also directly onto the heat pipes, the faster you will get rid of some of that heat. So that's also why throughout the whole heatsink, a lot of this airflow will be directed towards the heat pipes themselves as well.
Somebody is walking his dog and watching this.
Cool. So you're also learning a lot about the heat sinks then, and about aerodynamics basically. So yeah, a lot of these things go into it, and especially our gaming cards will have a lot of these extra things that will help with reducing the temperature, lowering the noise levels, all these kinds of things.
And this always depends on the GPU you have, because a high-end GPU will produce more power. I will switch, Peter.
Yes.
High-end GPU will produce more power, so you need more cooling. And I think the beginning of this year or end last year, we did a live stream from our HQ in Taiwan.
Yes.
And there we also showed how they measure the hot plate.
Yeah, this was the end of last year indeed. So when designing these cooling solutions, obviously you want to make sure that they can handle a certain amount of heat generated by the components. And so, for example, the GPU, even if you don't have the GPU itself yet, which in a lot of cases, for example, now, if we think about any graphics cards that may come into the future, I mean, you can't design a heatsink based on nothing. You know, you need to have something. So usually what will happen is they will get some indication of, well, it will need to be able to handle a TDP or thermal design power of, and then they get a number, 100 and, or I don't know, whatever, 250 watts. That's quite heavy actually, so it's probably not going to be that high, but say it's 150 watts.
Yeah.
And 150 watts, well, you might think 150 watts, how does that translate into heat or you know, anything that has to do with hot air? Well, electrical energy is being translated into heat in the process of doing its thing, doing the calculations, for example. And that heat then has to be dealt with, basically. It's a byproduct. Like a car engine as well, if you run it at high speeds, it will get quite hot. So, and based on the value that they get, they will have like a little, what they call a hot plate, and that will simulate the amount of heat being produced while at like max performance. And then that's also part of how they can already roughly at least test thermal solutions to see, can they handle this kind of heat output? And I mean, yeah, it's really cool to see that.
How much power, higher power consumption with this overclocked?
Compared to the Gaming X, you mean? Yeah. I don't know exactly, to be honest. I think it won't be that much. To be honest, memory isn't the main part that uses the power. It's usually the GPU itself, which is the same, and it also runs at the same speed as the Gaming X Trio. So the memory, it might be fractionally, more expensive in terms of power. It will use maybe just a little bit more, but it probably won't be noticeable, especially not on a scale of a 2080 Ti, which uses quite a lot anyway.
Yeah, I also, I think last week I did a live stream about the GS66 Stealth.
Yes.
And that one was using the new super GPUs from NVIDIA.
Yeah.
And it used new low voltage memory.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, that's obviously for notebooks and mobile devices.
It's more important because you run on battery life.
Yeah, you run on battery, so you really need to take that into account. Obviously, for desktop graphics, we don't really need to take that into consideration. And especially, I mean, to be honest, for most people, if they're running something like a 2080 Ti, are you really looking at power usage and you know, trying to make it run as optimally as possible? You can, of course, but for most people, they will be more interested in the raw performance, right? Yeah. That's kind of why you want to go for these cards.
Question on YouTube: when you design heat sinks, how do you account for varying cases and the airflow through them?
Very good question. You can't is the short answer. So basically, we've got a funny pun going around as well on HQ. They just take the worst case, get it? worst case scenario, which is basically, I think Eric showed this during one of his travels as well, through one of the heatsinks, one of the test facilities. They have like a room set up with virtually no airflow. And there they test the card. Yes, it will get hot, and the fans will spin up quite a bit, of course, because it's needed to still cool the card. But it will work. But probably you will get a lot more noise because, you know, the fans need to work a lot harder. So how do you account for it? It's really difficult because obviously you don't know. I mean, somebody can be living in the desert.
There are two
somebody
questions.
Can be...
It's also about size. Various cases. I mean, I guess also the size, how it fits in. And each case has a different design.
Yeah.
So we have two fan solutions, which are of course shorter. And you have one? Yeah, okay. Yeah, there you have it. And you have the, can you show the triple as well? Yeah.
Yes.
On top of each other, please. Yeah, I know.
Wait. Maybe this is better.
Yeah. So there you have it. So you always need to watch out what case you have, but also what power supply, the airflow. This is really complicated. And I saw somebody was, I think, from Indonesia or something, summer. He said it's really hot over here.
Yeah.
All those things need to be taken into account.
Yeah. Even things like humidity, if you can believe it, because in some countries, obviously, it's a lot more humid, the air, than others. We even have ESD.
During that live stream in December, we showed the ovens or the temperature, temperature control environment where we test them. Yeah, the burn-in test.
So yeah, there's a hell of a lot of testing and verifying that goes into this, and it is difficult. I mean, I'm always surprised at how they manage to try to cover every possible scenario. But on the other hand, if you try to imagine the worst possible scenario, and if you manage to make the card survive that, then you've covered a lot of stuff already, obviously.
Yeah, so another question I saw earlier, a similar one, but I forgot about it. Coil wine. It's an interesting topic. So what about the fan noise and might it have coil wine?
Coil wine is a thing that, I mean, it's very hard to control. In the past, we have managed to make it less by spreading out. That's also one of the reasons why the PCB has become, let's say, bigger on some of our custom cards. A lot of our custom cards will have less coil wine because simply the components that we have on there are spaced just a slightly bit more apart. And just by doing that, it reduces the chance that, because coil wine is basically what it is, you know, things reverberating or you know, moving on the card. And if it does so at a certain frequency, it will generate a noise. That's coil wine. And these things will be doing that because, you know, the capacitors, for example, that's their job. They have to expand and contract inside the casing that they have, for example, to be able to do their job. So it's not really something that you can, or it's easy to just get rid of, basically. And the more components you have on a card, so the more high-end ones, for example, like a 2080 Ti, which have a hell of a lot more components on it than, say, a 1660
higher frequencies
Ti
as
or
well.
Something. Yeah, higher frequency indeed is going through it, a lot more power. So you have a lot more chance of coil wine, unfortunately. And I mean, it's very difficult to deal with it, but a lot of times it's not so bad. It also varies by card. So it's not, for example, that every gaming Z Trio, for example, has the exact same amount of noise.
Absolutely not. Also depends on the configuration. I mean, one of the first things probably our technical guys are asking, did you try a different power supply? Because a lot of times the combination of power supply and the GPU or the graphics card is also producing coil wine. So by replacing your GPU, your PSU,
power supply,
it might be fixed already.
Yeah. So there's a lot of variations and things that go in there. So if you have that problem, I mean, you can try some things like Eric just mentioned. You can try replacing your power supply. That's a lot of the times that already helps.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just something that unfortunately can't be helped. And you know, it's also really different what's an acceptable level of coil wine noise for one person or for the other. Some persons are extremely sensitive to this kind of noise, and you know, the least bit they will completely, you know, start to cringe and like, oh, it's like nails on a chalkboard to them. And for some people they just think, well, yeah, it has coil wine, but you know, if I'm gaming and I put on my headset and then it's gone, I don't hear it anyway, so I don't really care. So it's up to you what you think is acceptable. It's very difficult to create a standard or something about what is considered to be acceptable or not. I think we're trying to be as flexible as possible with it, and of course our engineers are trying to see if there are more ways that we can figure out to decrease the chance of it happening. But yeah, like I said, it's really it's a conundrum. It's really difficult to do something about on a product as complex as a high-end graphics card, especially.
Gorge is saying, do you guys have a favorite game? And how is this card improving that experience? And please don't say Minecraft.
Well, since I tried Minecraft RTX, I have to say I'm really impressed. But
I didn't try it yet.
I don't know. For me, lately, it's Bannerlord. Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord, the early access I've been getting into quite a bit. And yeah, it's one of those games which almost became a meme for a long time, where a lot of people thought, I'll be telling my kids about that I was waiting for this game to come out, but it never did, like Half-Life 3 or something. But it recently went into early access, and yeah, it's still far from perfect. It's really buggy and other stuff going on, but it's really cool as well. And how is it improving that? Well, the graphics, you can play it at really high resolution and everything maxed out. And I mean, in this game you've got up to, well, you can define how many troops you have on the field. But if you have like 1,000 troops on there on a 1440p resolution, it's quite intensive already on your graphics card. So yeah, this thing will just easily handle that. Which looks amazing, by the way.
And for me, everybody knows is Battlezone.
Battlezone.
Battlefield and a Warzone.
Yeah.
Battlezone, hey, that would be a nice combination. And I'm a sucker for nice graphics, so I don't care too much about FPS, of course, 60 plus, and I want eye candy.
Yeah.
Next giveaway, Peter.
Yeah, let's do it.
The winner is Ripsa. Congratulations.
Ripsa, so yeah, a few congratulations to Ripsa. We'll send the code out to you in the coming days.
Yes.
If you want to participate, you can go to msi.com/2/insider or follow the link that's being spammed in the chat.
And now it's the correct link. I checked it.
Yeah, now it should be the correct link indeed. We had two instances of the chat open, and so the chat bot was spamming one outdated link and one that was actually correct.
Yeah.
Now it should only be the correct one. So there you can perform a couple of actions. The more actions you perform, the better your chance of winning. And yeah, may the luck be with you, because the winners are drawn randomly.
Max
by
Bunny
the system.
is asking on Twitch will it run Crysis remastered on Max?
Yeah.
Nobody knows,
knew.
but
yeah.
we're afraid so. This will be the meme for the next 10 years.
Yeah, for now it's can it run Minecraft RTX?
Yeah, indeed.
Because as you're going to see, that's even a 2080 Ti gaming Z Trio with the faster memory, it has. Yeah,
it will get a headache.
It will use all of the resources that it can.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, so yeah, let's well, while we're talking about it, let's talk a bit more about the Minecraft thing. If you guys have Minecraft, or if you have kids that have Minecraft, if you have the Windows 10 edition at least, you can subscribe into the beta by going to the Xbox Insider program, and well,
it is like called Xbox Insider Hub.
Yeah, exactly. So the Xbox Insider Hub, there you can subscribe to enter the RTX beta. Then it will download some extra resources for the game. Unfortunately, I don't think you can convert your current worlds or maps if you're playing it to RTX, because it really requires different resources from the game. Although NVIDIA has been kind enough to donate a couple of free maps.
Donate.
Wow.
Probably there are levels they use for testing.
But I saw a lot of, in the marketplace for Minecraft, a lot of these maps do cost, well, it's kind of like an in-game currency, I guess. So yeah, these ones you can get for free. And obviously it's more like a showcase anyway, and it's a beta, so it's all meant to showcase the capabilities and how it looks. You do need an RTX card for it, so RTX 2060 or up. to be able
because
to do
of the tensor cores.
Yeah, exactly. Although you can, on GTX cards, you can do some ray tracing in some games. Nvidia has enabled it for some games on the 10 series at least, I think. But Minecraft RTX will not work on any GTX
Maybe
card.
stop talking and show us. Come on, Peter.
Well, before we go into that, I also want to cover one other thing, which is quite important, which is DLSS.
Oh.
Can we switch to the cap? There we go.
Everybody knows. I talked about it last week.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you really discuss the same thing exactly?
I use different screenshots, but I just said you get 3 frames.
Basically, yeah. So the point of DLSS is indeed getting more frames per second without hopefully noticing the difference in visual quality. Because what DLSS does is it will render the game natively on a lower resolution and then use the tensor or AI cores to upscale it to high resolution, the resolution that you're actually using. In the past, this didn't work perfectly always. I mean, one of the well-known examples was, what is it? Metro. It made the game all fuzzy, and here you also have an example, as you can see above me, in Control. There were all kinds of side effects that they didn't really, it was difficult to fix, let's say. I mean, it did give a lot more FPS, but the visual quality didn't always benefit, let's say. But now they have got DLSS 2.0, and that one addresses a lot of the issues, if not all of them. So at the bottom you can see a result of the DLSS 2.0, a lot of better sharpening, and so you really shouldn't be able to tell too much difference between native resolution and using DLSS. So quite interesting. We also did a little testing, actually we borrowed a little testing from Gamers Nexus. We always try to use third-party benchmark results anyway, because then
because you're lazy.
There's no way to influence them. No, it's not because we're lazy. Well, I can spend more time playing then and less time benchmarking.
It's like that.
No, but I mean, it's a big deal, DLSS, and especially if it works well as intended, and you still get the graphics quality, but you also get more performance, because here you can see some of the differences. The green bars are when DLSS is enabled in Minecraft, and this is at 1080p, remember, and the blue bars are when it's disabled, so that's just native 1080p resolution in Minecraft RTX. And a 2080 Ti, the top one, without DLSS, is on average not even 60 FPS.
It's amazing, right?
I mean, that tells you something. But with DLSS on, you get almost 90 FPS. So that's a massive difference. And so, top to bottom, it's somewhere between, I think the 2080 Ti, you get about 60% more performance. And the 2060 Super, it's even up to 70% extra performance. So, I mean, it's a big deal. Going from just over 30 to almost 60 on a 2060 Super, that's making it borderline smooth and playable. So big difference. All right, that's enough talk, and let's go into the game then. Again, we are using the actual card we're talking about today. So we are using in a system the 2080 Ti Gaming Z Trio with the faster memory. I've also enabled Afterburner, so you can always see it. Oh, sorry?
Can you prove it?
I don't know how to prove it, really. I mean, I've got it in a PC right there. And to be honest, I mean, it will look like this. It's
GPU-Z?
It's this card. I don't know. I don't think that's even on here. So I'd have to download. And I don't know if GPU-Z shows...
probably not.
No, it's not on here. It also doesn't show the exact name, I think. Well, you should be able to, I don't know, maybe see it from the memory speed. I don't know. But let's, I think what everybody wants to see anyway is this Minecraft stuff. So let's dive into that. I have enabled the Afterburner OSD on-screen display in the top right corner, as you can see above me. Just so you can see what the GPU is doing, what the memory is doing. This is the VRAM, by the way, the video memory. And the CPU as well. So you can see, is the CPU being taxed more, or is it the GPU?
Nice default skin, Peter.
I know. I'm not a Minecraft pro, stay with me here.
Even my kids know how to update that.
I know, but all kids know more than us.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, if you install the beta, it will say twice, beta. I don't know why.
It's the beta of the beta.
Exactly. And then in the marketplace, you can download the ray tracing maps if you want. Where were they? I don't know. They were somewhere
I think
here.
you installed them already. So
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I just want to show for the guys who maybe don't have them yet. Anyway, probably won't show up here because I already have them installed. And as you can see, I can create a new world here, and I've got all these templates. So they released 6 maps, NVIDIA did, with the GeForce RTX, so enabled. What we will do is we'll dive into the one that has the most different types of examples that we can show you. So I already created one of these worlds here. So we'll dive into that. So in the menu, we were well over 700 FPS, which is to be expected. So we will have both ray tracing and DLSS enabled by default at first. So keep that in mind in terms of the performance.
Wow.
All right, here we go. So, yeah, this is the lobby of this.
Can you switch between on and off?
Yes, but it's a bit strange because they made some textures, like the ones that you see light up here. They made it, well, have more of a glowing effect, or at least some glowing
so it's
attributes.
Light emitting.
Yes, light emitting indeed, where in the normal, so this is default Minecraft rendering, it doesn't. So it's a bit strange maybe.
Yeah. But this looks like Minecraft indeed.
This is normal Minecraft, and then you can easily, with one push of a button, you can easily switch to the ray traced version. Oh. And as you can see,
look at that.
This is crazy. Just the reflection, and each material, as you can see here as well, each material will have different reflective and capabilities or well, how to call it?
Peter.
Attributes. Yes.
You forgot to talk about RGB.
No, there's RGB.
Somebody is asking, does it have RGB? You forgot to tell them.
Of course, it's a Gaming X Trio. Of course, it has RGB. It has all the RGB that you could ever want. But no, yes, it does have the RGB, just like the Gaming X Trio, and it will also work in Dragon Center. So it used to be a separate Mystic Light application. Now it's included into the Dragon Center, and Dragon Center software is meant to be one software which basically can control all your MSI hardware from there. So we know in the past we had a lot of different software that you could and should install if you wanted to use all the functions. That was a big pet peeve for a lot of people, me included. But because you're working with a lot of external parties as well, it was really difficult to combine everything. Nonetheless, we've started doing that in the past couple of years, and so now we have basically one software that should be able to run all your new MSI hardware and all the functionality.
Look at the green neo light bouncing off. Yeah, also on the right side. There.
Oh, this. Yeah.
Bouncing all the tiles.
Yeah. And every tiles, I mean, there's several values that they have. So there's reflectiveness, like like this. I don't know, it's ice or glass.
Yeah.
Of course, that reflects a lot. It's almost like a mirror. But you also see this, and this is like I think a smooth stone surface that reflects a bit still, and then you have this really matte surface here. Or the bricks, for example, which
they also define the roughness
anything.
Of the material.
Yeah, so there's roughness, reflectiveness, a lot of different values that can be attributed to each different thing, which in the normal version of Minecraft, it's not there. It's simply not there. It doesn't reflect, or it doesn't really do much with light. So it's very basic. So all these new values, they had to put into the game basically because they weren't there before.
And this is also the reason why you cannot just use old levels you created yourself or you used to play in RTX, because all the blocks need to be new blocks with more information attached to them.
Correct. And you see the God rays here?
Yeah, this is amazing.
So, and the textures aren't even that different from default Minecraft.
No, it's just Minecraft.
A lot of them.
Can you switch out off the lights here?
So this is default Minecraft. And as you can see, my FPS immediately spikes up to about 200 or something like that.
So D312, which is DirectX 12.
Yes.
That's the FPS counter.
Yeah. And also you can see the the little graph going as well, which shows you the consistency of the FPS.
Yeah.
And then if we turn RTX on, still about 100, and that's mostly down to this being an inside setting, because it doesn't have to render too far. So if we go to another world later on, you might see that it might dip a bit. Here let's go into one room. Let's go to the recommended setting. And as you can see, there's just so much going on here. This, by the way, is more metallic. Sorry?
Yeah, it's like you're playing Counter-Strike. Yeah, indeed. Oh, that's gone. No, covered.
But as you can see, there's like a marble type thing here, and this really smooth and really reflective. So as you can see, all these lights here are being reflected.
So this is the difference with, for example, the implementation in previous games. Whoa, this is a big difference.
This is normal.
Like
Minecraft.
Battlefield, because of the number of bounces. Here, light will bounce up to like 8 times from all the objects, and each time it's calculated how it should look.
Yeah.
Whoa. And that's why this game is pretty heavy, because it's doing that. It's the first game.
Yeah.
But I think this will set a new standard for future games.
Yeah. And you can also see, I mean, this is glass, and it's a bit see-through, but it really changes...
The edge, yeah.
Yeah, it really changes how...
You're in edit mode, creative mode?
Yes.
So
I can fly around.
Dig a hole. Oh yeah, you can also fly around, yeah.
The only thing about this is I have no idea how to get down again.
It's another button. Control?
I don't know.
Shift?
Oh, here we go, shift. All right. Yeah. Again, I really, this has been so long since I ever even played Minecraft, so I don't know a lot of the controls.
In Warzone, it's space.
But you can remove
then you use your parachute.
Yeah. But let's go to a different room first. Ah.
You're stuck.
Here we go. Yeah. Right. So here, this is the God Ray room, basically. And here again, we will switch to the normal Minecraft. And of course, there's the sun. That's of course why you have the God rays coming through. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's really a dystopian difference between the unrealistic nature of the Minecraft style, you know, the blockiness, and it's just, you know, it's a very simplified look and feel. And then the ultra realistic way that light behaves and is in this game. And that combination just, I don't know, the really combination that I really like about it. Let's see, we have some different rooms here as well. Oh yeah, this one's fun. This one is actually, I have to switch to third person view here, because if you go to first person, you can see, I saw that video as well, they're still working on, when you're in first person, your character is not really being rendered, only your arm. So as you can see here.
So this is a beta, so it still has some issues they need to work out.
Well, yeah, I mean, some things they would like to improve, I think they put it. And this is one of the things, because normally in the game, if you switch to normal
So this is just a room with mirrors?
Yes, and normally, there are no mirrors in normal Minecraft, so that's why you see this. It's just a room with walls.
Yeah.
But then indeed, if you turn RTX on, suddenly it becomes like a disco. But yeah, if you go like third person, and here you can see, you know, everything is real time, and it just, yeah.
Oh, amazing.
When the first time I walked in one of these rooms, I was really, and I was in first person view, I kept just, you know, running into walls like, oh, I want to go there. What's happening? So I really didn't even notice that there were walls and mirrors here.
Can you put an object in the room?
I don't know, I don't have objects.
Yeah, you have inventory.
I don't know, how do I get into my inventory? Honestly, this is the thing, I
normally
really don't know.
With a controller. You should play this with a controller.
Well, block of iron, here we go. Oh, here we go. I'll put this here. Nobody saw that.
Ah yeah, so in the reflection you see this as well.
Yeah.
And can you remove it? See how fast it appears? No, yeah. Remove it with the reflection in yeah, okay. It's real time.
There is some delay, I noticed. I think I'll put this here, for example.
Activate Windows.
No.
Yeah,
short answer, no. Long answer, no. No, but there is some delay, I think, if I remember correctly, and this is down to the DLSS, so the tensor cores basically. Mostly it should be with light emitting things. See, I keep running into walls here. Oh yeah, this is also a really nice example.
Yeah, this is the...
So normally in Minecraft, if you're in
if you dig a hole, it looks like this.
Exactly, and you find the lava and stuff like that. It will look like this.
Yeah.
And with ray tracing enabled, you can see the light. The light from the lava. It doesn't just emit out to everything, but it will also reflect and refract off the different surfaces, and so it will behave differently wherever you go. Here you can even see the guy with a real-time shadow on the wall there.
Yeah, indeed.
Which is, of course, because the light is coming from down there.
Wow. I'm impressed. I mean, yeah, I already saw some video of it, but nice.
Yeah, maybe we can show some a different world as well. Fly through, because then you can really see the render distance and stuff like that. Let's see. Just create a new one. I think water also had a really nice effect, so let's take this one.
I'm going to do another giveaway.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. It's an aquatic adventure.
I saw one of the developers saying that if you're in the water, the load is much more heavy. And you see that as well. So now you're about 100, and if you go K-dive.
Yeah.
And watch around. Yeah. Yeah, so you really see it dropping like to 80. That's like 20%.
Yeah, and the deeper you get, apparently.
Yeah. So maybe it's not an FPS counter, but pressure.
But here you can also see the edge of the cloud, basically.
This is, yeah.
Creating the God rays in the water. And the deeper you go, the darker it will get, because obviously water will will block some of the water, or will block some of the light. And again, we can switch to normal. This is normal Minecraft here underwater.
Looks boring.
Yeah, especially with the this texture. And you can't really see out of it or through it. And then enable ray tracing.
Yeah.
And there you go. I don't know why it's not allowing me to fly here. It should, but it's not.
Uh-oh, I have a difficult name. Shall I just pick somebody else?
No, that wouldn't be fair.
Oh my god. Teddy Bye, I would say. Teddy Bye. Yeah, anyway, congratulations. Teddy Bye, I will just call you. In the coming days, you'll see an email with the $20 Steam voucher. Yeah, I think everybody by now knows how to participate. Peter, let me just tell everybody. So go to msi.com/2/insider or follow the link from our spam bot. And back to Peter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is really...
no sharks?
Not that I can see.
Or...
But I mean, yeah. I think this is not the creative mode that I'm in, actually.
No, because previously you saw the selector of the blocks.
Oh, I see. Yeah, anyway. But this is a real, this is a showcase of the underwater world and how water acts with the ray tracing and the effect it has. Also, maybe it's good to see if we can highlight here the effect of...
They didn't ray trace the menu.
No, of course they didn't. Some things never change. So this is the upscaling is, as you can see at the top here as well, upscaling mode DLSS. If you disable this, you disable DLSS. So, and as you can see, then the FPS takes an immediate hit. So now we're up to, well, almost 50.
Yeah, and
40,
this was 70? 80 almost, right? Yeah, 20% or so.
Pretty much, yeah. 50-ish. Yeah, so big difference compared to what it was with DLSS.
And here it was 100. Now 55 max.
And then we can turn it back on.
Advanced, yeah.
And we're up to, well, about 70.
Yeah, big gap.
So huge difference. Let's take another one. And yeah, I mean, this is just a showcase, right? I mean, they made Minecraft now with RTX. But, oh yeah, see, it was Adventure, here we go. But, yeah, imagine if any other game that you like got the RTX treatment and you know, the hyper-realistic way that light behaves.
Can you please help me in the giveaway? It says this, sorry, throwaway Twitter accounts are not allowed. Sorry, I don't know. We're using Gleam. Gleam is a platform we're using for this. We need to look into this.
Yeah.
Can be a false positive, but it probably thinks you have a temporary Twitter account.
A fake account or something like that. So you can see is the normal Minecraft.
What CPU is this running on? Good question. Can we see this on the top?
The 2080 Ti.
No, CPU.
Oh, CPU. Sorry. No, you can't see the exact CPU, but it's the Ryzen 3950, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's really a high-end CPU. Anyway, so here you can see a lot of the reflective surfaces.
There's some sort of metallic look.
Yep, metallic, so that acts a lot different than some of the other materials here. So we're just going to walk through it and see. Oh, well.
Fly through it?
Yes, exactly, because I'm flying. And then turn RTX on and off every now and again. Here we come to the render distance as well. So as you can see now, we're standing outside. And there's especially if I do this, here you can see now everything renders really quickly. And when I enable RTX again, here we go. So you can really see everything building up block by block. And we can even, in advanced video, we can even say that the render distance, ray tracing render distance especially, let's just put it to the max, for example.
Ooh.
This should be
There was a warning.
Yes. Well, I mean, 22 FPS.
22.
23, 30.
Yeah.
And this is with DLSS enabled, guys. So should we turn it off?
So the GPU manufacturer, like Nvidia, they still found something. They still found a reason why we should purchase new VGA cards.
Of course, always.
Yeah.
So this is actually, you know, DLSS in this particular scene doesn't seem to have that much of an impact. It's about 30-ish now. And then when I enable DLSS again, it's about the same.
You think ray tracing will come to indie games soon? I'm not sure about that. I see there is, implementation still takes time, and especially in this one, this is completely path ray traced, so it is more custom programming needs to be done. But if you look at game engines like the Unreal Engine, I believe, already supports. Let me check. I think it does. With RTX. Yeah, it supports it. So more and more game engines are going to support ray tracing, and this means also that if indie game developers use one of those engines, they can also implement it. But of course, first they will go for the normal game without ray tracing, unless the ray tracing has some added value for the game in terms of gameplay. Because first they go for gameplay and then they go for visual quality.
Yeah. So this is the normal Minecraft again, and then enabling ray tracing just makes everything pop a lot more, and everything, yeah, all the light.
12 frames, 11, 10.
Yeah, I know. Well, this is the thing. I mean, honestly, I'm pushing this thing really, really hard right now. But if we...
You're doing like Eric normally does.
Yes.
I know.
Just put this back a little bit, and it already becomes a lot more responsive.
Yeah.
Let's check out what this plane is all about.
It looked like a plane, but yeah.
Yeah. But it's quite cool. So they made all kinds of like sculptures and stuff like that. All right, let's try one of the other worlds as well. So there were some different ones. Can it be connected with an SLI with 2070? That's probably not going to work. Nope. You need the same GPU type. And that will probably work best. Let's see, let's take this one, Crystal Palace.
Frostbite indeed supports it. Battlefield is built on that one. Unity.
I want to make sure I select the right creative mode this time, to be honest. I don't know.
What resolution is this? This is 1080p.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Survival.
Yeah, you do the survival.
No.
Yeah, difficult.
No. I will probably die if I do that.
Of starvation or monsters?
Both at the same time.
At the same time.
But the monsters won't die of starvation, so there's that.
Yeah.
Again, normal normal Minecraft. This is how, if you play it, you will recognize this very normally. And here you can see, this is the ray traced version, the fully ray traced. So the light really acts differently here. Here we go. Again, I'll just turn ray tracing off for a second.
What graphics cards do you guys use in your personal computers at home? I have a 1080. Peter?
I have a 1080 Ti at the moment still.
Oh, look at that. So we're still all gen.
Yes, we are, yeah. Well, I mean, let's just say all the ray tracing stuff I'm lucky enough to do at work. And it is really cool. But also, as soon as you get kids, and I have a really cute almost 1.5-year-old daughter, you tend to not spend quite as much time gaming anymore. And also, the games that I play casually, like Bannerlord, they don't support ray tracing yet. Maybe. They will keep developing it, so there's a good chance it might in the future. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's not that big a deal yet. But who knows, when Cyberpunk 2077 comes out,
maybe
that might be the reason for me to go for ray tracing.
Can you switch between on and off?
Yes. So this is the normal Minecraft.
Rip Peter, dead by Minecraft.
Death by Minecraft, yeah. Let's fly around a bit. Oh, we can go underwater as well. Let's see what happens. So now, oh look, there's a fish.
No shark.
No, of course not. I'm punching it.
Oh, dolphins.
Oh. Is it? I don't know. But here you can also really see the effect of anything blocking the line of sight with a light source.
Can you do the same with, oh, you also have a cloud. Oh, nothing.
And this is the normal, the default Minecraft. There, you really don't get any of that kind of effect. And switching to the ray traced again. I mean, it just makes it such, I don't know, it has a lot of atmosphere all of a sudden. It feels a lot more immersive as well. With really everything, like everything in the water and how the light reflects and refracts really changes the color and how it looks and the kind of atmosphere you get.
What's the max power target? Can you see in...
That's a good question.
In Afterburner?
I could try. but I don't know. Well, it's not really, I mean, I haven't done overclocking in a long time, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, you can see the usage a bit. Memory, core memory clock. You can see the percentages. So it's close to the power percentage of the graphics card being used, which is in the 90s. But you can't really see wattages, I think.
Why is it not yet in the markets available, especially in Newegg? This card just launched last Thursday, so yep. I'm not sure when the first shipment will arrive, but
it might still be shipping.
Yeah, it might be still in transit indeed.
Yeah.
Why is there a Ventus card on the table if you're not talking about it?
We have talked about it.
Yeah.
Because
we use it to compare this card to the Ventus.
Yeah. Let's see what's in here. Actually, this tower.
Can you maybe go outside and switch it off? Oh, water. Nice.
Without ray tracing. So a lot becomes visible because light, will also reflect off of a lot of these surfaces. Where if you don't have any reflection going on, then it's just dark, pretty much.
What a world.
Yeah. But the light constantly changes depending on also the type of material it hits. So either the color, but also the density.
Is that a cloud?
What is this? Yeah.
And a dragon?
It's a dragon, yes. See, the cloud is even moving.
Yeah, nice.
Let's go up and see the dragon.
Ride the dragon.
I don't know if we can.
Nice.
I think it's just more of an ornament in the sky.
Unlucky.
Unlucky?
Yeah.
This is like Lucky's unlucky cousin.
And can you, can you go back? Yeah. A little bit higher. Yeah, you see that? The sunlight also reflecting in it.
Oh, this.
Yeah,
yes.
Wow. And then can you switch? Wow. It's almost unrecognizable.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a completely different game. And some of these examples that we saw earlier as well were where you have the different colors basically like this. Of the material, and when especially when it shines through it, because you can even see through this and then see what's behind it. Even some reflections that I think maybe this part is actually reflecting in here, because it's obviously not this opening, so it's this thing that I'm seeing reflected in here. And when I turn it off, it's just like this.
No, this is a single card. No SLI.
No, that's true. There's still some translucency here, the transparency, you can still see through it. But it's not as realistic as, this, where you can see clearly something being reflected in it. But a lot of the materials, they have different properties. So if you use a different material, it will emit a different type of light. So you have purple stained glass. I don't know if I can switch to different ones as well. It's not really working.
Uh-oh. Oh, that's nice. You see the sun?
Mm-hmm. And here you can even see the shadow is also more purplish because of the glass we're using.
Can you switch? Yeah. Look at that frame rate.
Yeah, I mean, the frame rate without ray tracing is
This will still take
high,
several generations before this like 4040p or 4K even maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it will take a while, obviously. But this is already again a major step in the right direction, because we've seen Quake 2, for example, which they fully ray trace. Now they did Minecraft. Each time in each different game that they do ray tracing on, they learn new things and they will find new ways to optimize it and to apply it. And so with each game and each iteration, it will continue to get better. And this, they've been saying this from the start, but obviously it's difficult to see that when you don't have specific examples of it. But now you can see more examples and you can see where it's headed. And also the performance difference, because again, let's see what happens when we turn DLSS off, which is, well, kind of like a performance help here, a big performance help. If we go down a bit, things get a lot darker. When we go up.
Yeah, this
red glow as well. I see even what's underwater is being reflected in this surface, which is really cool. I mean, it's really amazing what they can do with it.
Why the sun doesn't have a smiley?
Because this isn't a drawing of my 1.5-year-old. No, actually, she can't draw that yet. But I don't know. I mean, if you want to make a Minecraft server where the sun has a smile on its face, I think you can do that. And even here, I think, let's see if we can, do we have some God rays here? Probably. There we go, especially in the water. When there's, well, there needs to be something that the God ray actually hits for you to be able to see it.
So it seems that water has different properties than, oh, the sun is going down.
It is, yeah. I mean, the time of the server is changing, obviously. Then we're doing the DLSS, enabling DLSS again, and suddenly we're up to almost 100 FPS.
Wow, look at that. Whoa. This is amazing. I didn't know it would be.
Yeah. Well, this is realistic as well, because normally, I mean, the color spectrum changes when the sun goes down.
Yeah.
You might have heard of the green flash, which is one of the colors that disappears last, and it's only fraction of a second when you're able to see it. But normally in the evening, the sun will be, will have a more reddish color, or the light from the sun, let's say. Whereas in the morning, it's more
Far Cry 1 Minecraft edition.
Yeah,
kind of true.
That's let's see one of the other maps as well. The thing is, every one of these maps has a lot of things you can discover, which is really cool. The more you look around it. Yeah, let's see this one. And I also want to, because I just want to fly around.
Yeah, this is only, I think this is RTX or ray tracing is only working in the Windows 10, which is called the Bedrock version.
Well, no, they've got a lot of different. We also found out that they've got a lot of different versions of Minecraft, and
but somebody's asking, will this work for the Java version?
No, I'm not sure. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
At least you have to have the Windows 10 version.
Yeah,
that's what I know of it.
Bedrock.
I thought I had the creative mode selected, but I don't think it is.
Somebody is saying we should use some shaders from some YouTube channel. Yeah, we're Minecraft amateurs.
Yeah, we tried. It's just we wanted to display how it runs. Oh, it is creative. That's weird because I couldn't.
Yeah,
couldn't jump,
maybe explain why we're amateurs.
Anyway, but we tried to apply different textures and stuff like that. The thing is, it can already be a bit of a hassle to get this running, let alone doing custom maps or custom things like that. Again, we don't play Minecraft regularly, so we just had to dive into it for the purpose of this stream and to display this the RTX.
Yeah,
But yeah. It's we don't know all the ins and outs of the game.
Kino is asking, do you guys have any info about 3000 series cards?
Nope.
Officially, nope.
And unofficially also nope.
Nope. Well, maybe the CPUs, 3000 series.
Yeah. I'm just gonna walk through here.
Please make Mac OS drivers. I believe this is part of NVIDIA's job, the drivers. We don't make drivers. So, and to be honest, I don't know if there are drivers. So maybe you're right, there are no drivers.
For macOS, I'm also not sure. I mean, obviously we focus mostly on PC gaming and PC users.
Can you switch between on and off, please?
Yeah.
Especially
there we go.
Yeah.
I wanted to see if I can fly through here, but it's not really letting me, unfortunately.
No creative mode.
I can run a bit, though.
Can you switch again, please? And look around. Yeah. Wow.
I mean, the render distance isn't quite the same, so let's see if we can up that a bit. At least 16 chunks. Yeah. And also shadows should be a lot more realistic, as in they should be more sharp where the object originates, basically, close to the object. And the further away they get from it, then they will be more, how do you call it? Dispersed, or, yeah. Oh, there's a track here, actually. Maybe we can, oh, there's a person here. Maybe we can actually ride through this. I think you're supposed to be able to do that.
So B-Brain is saying RTX is Bedrock Windows 10 only because it's DirectX 12. Java will likely not get RTX support. No real Minecraft players are using Bedrock.
Well, that's the thing. We're not really
we're
hardcore
qualified
Minecraft
as no real
players.
players.
Yeah.
Well, it's true.
I guess I was supposed to jump in that cart instead of just walk up to it, but we can. We might be able to just. I was gonna say walk this track a bit.
Will you guys consider similar in the future with AMD ray tracing cards? Well, you know, there are a lot of rumors about that. They also announced this for the new consoles, but we don't know what will come to the market for the PC market. So most likely it will have ray tracing, but it's not 100% sure. Most likely, I say, because ray tracing is also implemented by Microsoft in the DirectX. Actually, they have a new DirectX, right?
Yes, so DirectX 12 Ultimate has been released relatively recent. I think last month.
Yeah, indeed.
Or earlier this month. And I mean, it enables some really cool features. One of which I remembered very specifically was, remember what I said earlier when you have high FPS in a game, all the draw calls for each frame have to come from your CPU. Mm-hmm. And so at high frame rates, your CPU might become the bottleneck instead of the GPU. Yeah. One of the features in DirectX 12 Ultimate is that the GPU, especially for ray tracing, should be able, if they program it that way, to to issue its own draw calls. So this will then happen within the GPU. It's not dependent on the CPU, that part. So that's something that in cases where it's now being bottlenecked by your CPU, potentially, because it can't issue the draw calls fast enough, that could be solved by then letting the GPU issue its own draw calls when it comes to ray tracing, and then speed up the process. So very technical stuff, but in the end, it just means there's more flexibility for the programmers, for the developers, to issue the workloads to whatever hardware still has some headroom and can handle
this will still take some time before it's implemented. I think NVIDIA just released their developer driver, so develop beta driver, of course, so developers already can play with it. Yeah. But yeah, before these games have it implemented and are released on the market, yeah, I mean,
it's going to take a while.
Yeah, look at DirectX 12, how long that took.
Yeah, that's the thing. It takes a long time. Let's also put this map.
Cool, somebody is sending a panda to us.
Oh, that's sending points on Mixer.
We are not mixer experts.
No, but I think it's kind of like on Twitch. You can do bits. So again, here you have the normal version of Minecraft.
Peter, you do really a good job of explaining things. Thank you. Well, that's what you want to hear, Peter.
Yes. Well, again, we don't know everything, and everything changes around us a lot, especially with these new things. It's really exciting at the same time, and at the same time, it's really also challenging to keep up with everything, especially in all the detail, because a lot of it is down to a lot of technical detail and programming stuff. And
you have CPU-Z, Peter?
Not on this on this PC, unfortunately, no.
Yeah, somebody asking what kind of RAM speeds are you using?
Honestly, I don't know. I just borrowed this PC from from our FAE department.
Peter wasn't for weeks in the office. He came in. He wanted to do this live stream,
PC.
And then, hey, there are no PCs. No.
Yeah.
You had to call somebody back, right, to open the door to get a working PC.
Yeah, exactly. Because again, unfortunately, I didn't have that much time due to the COVID-19.
Did you guys build all of this? No, these levels are created by NVIDIA. Oh well, I don't think by NVIDIA, but some of their
the individual artists. But indeed, I think commissioned by NVIDIA to of course display what you can do.
Yeah.
So again, normal Minecraft, and then.
I wish.
Look at that, it just suddenly doesn't look like Minecraft anymore.
Yeah.
It's just really weird. But really freaking cool at the same time. Up?
This is amazing.
Let's switch to the normal version. Wow.
Somebody died?
I don't know. I think
crocodiles, of course. That's why there's blood in the water.
I think I might have broken something here.
Yeah? Okay.
Oh, here we go.
I like to break things.
It's a beta for a reason, right?
Arson's still here? He knows.
It's not 100% working correctly, maybe.
Fire, smoke.
Yeah.
I'm going to do another giveaway.
Yes. Maybe you should do another giveaway.
Okay.
I think people would like that, Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so Eric will do another giveaway?
Yeah, so let's go to...
So we're deep in the forest here as well.
Yeah, I see you playing. Very concentrated. Okay, so next prize winner is, let me see, Venoir, I would say. Probably I pronounced it wrong. Doesn't matter. Congratulations. You will get a $20 Steam wallet code in the coming days by email. If you want to join, you can still join msi.com/do/insider or use the correct link in our chat.
I just had a button where I got like, here we go.
Hey, look, Peter. God race, finding our lucky.
Yeah. Oh, for some reason I can't.
You find inventory.
Yeah, but then something happened. I don't know. It's not really responding.
Beta.
I might have I might have crashed the game by going into the inventory. Maybe I wasn't supposed to.
So we're now so lucky that we didn't use NDI.
Yes.
Because otherwise the PC would have, well, actually the whole live stream would have been over.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I think pretty much we've reached the end point anyway. I think we've demonstrated a lot of it.
I want to say, you're not rebooting it?
No.
Oh, well, you showed all levels, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And I, again, I don't know all the details, so I could have. What I was trying to do is see if I could get some light sources, which I could then plant in places where you could really see the effect of what that does. But unfortunately, yeah, it crashed, so it's not really doing much of anything at the moment. It's still a beta, and indeed, we might have to #blame Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I hope this answers most of your questions. Again, we made the 2080 Ti a bit faster, mostly because, well, we can, and nobody else did it yet. So
correct.
Yeah, why not? Faster memory, a faster GPU is always a good thing, I would say. Yeah, we showed you guys some of the thermal features, and especially the difference between the cards and why you would choose one card over the other, for example. Choice is ultimately always up to you. If you want to enjoy this ray tracing experience in Minecraft, you have to have a ray tracing and RTX card, so it will not work on GTX cards.
No. Currently only playable on 1080p.
If you want a decent frame rate, then pretty much yes.
I would say, yeah.
Obviously, you can play it on higher resolutions.
I mean,
but, you will get a
nobody
lot lower
cares
FPS.
for FPS in Minecraft, of course, but yeah. But this looks really promising. This is, for me, it's a game changer, and of course it will still take maybe 3 to 5 years because before the AAA games have these kind of path rate.
Well, I mean,
graphics.
you could do that now. The problem is you would get a slideshow because you're trying to combine.
That's what I'm saying. You know, it's development time, but it's also the hardware should be ready, because I think we need 2 or maybe 3 new generations of graphics cards.
Yeah, I mean, all these things take time. Remember the first time we started with rasterized 3D graphics back in the day, and just look at how long it took before we got to where we are now, like games like The Witcher or Red Dead Redemption, which have ridiculous amounts of detail. And it was down to a combination of really powerful hardware, which each generation was able to handle more workload, but also at the same time, really clever ways of developers and software engineers of finding ways of how to intelligently apply this technology. And they've got like DLSS and things like, they've also got, I forgot how it's called now, but it's one of the things where you have a selective focus, basically. So things will be rendered more sharply in a higher definition where you are looking, but kind of at the extremes of your screen, they might be rendered at a lower resolution, and that will give you massive performance.
On consoles, you also have that variable resolutions.
Yeah, exactly.
So whenever you run into
variable rate shading, that kind of stuff. So I mean, these things are really incredibly smart, and you could see them as a way of cheating, because you don't render everything at the highest resolution. But then again, do you need to? And it's a way of still using that really high resolution and that eye candy that you want to enjoy and see, like ray tracing, but then applying it only where it matters, so that you still keep the higher frame rate and make it kind of smooth and playable.
A lot of people fan of Lucky, the dragon. I hug it. I cannot really hug it, but anyway.
Aww.
Aww.
Okay.
Yeah, you can.
Anyway, so yeah, I hope we answered most of your questions. And next week.
Next week,
we have a very exciting topic. At least, if we can get a beta key.
Maybe we should ask them for help.
I don't think they can. We've got a couple of accounts watching Twitch 24/7. We're trying to get a Valorant.
We're trying to get a
beta
key.
And hopefully our FPS expert, CSGO veteran as well, will be able to show you all about how to get Valorant to play very smoothly and all the ins and outs of it. From what I've seen, it's very well optimized. So I'm really surprised to see that, especially because it's still quite new.
His 240 hertz monitors.
Yes, exactly. So you want
we will
that
see
high
how
FPS.
much optimized it is.
Exactly. The higher the
if
FPS,
we get a key,
the better your KD ratio will be.
Yeah.
So that's going to be next week,
One
hopefully.
moment. I want to do another giveaway.
All right, just before we go,
yeah,
one more winner.
Well, last one. Last one. Just to make up for the game which crashed.
Yeah, well.
Oh
it crashed good though. It's really not. I have to probably hard reboot now.
I guess so. Okay, last winner today is Markelos. Markelos, congratulations.
Well, I've seen him in the chat a couple of times, so congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you for joining. You will get a Steam voucher, Steam wallet code, I would say.
Yes.
By email in the coming days. I think thank you all for joining.
For now, yeah. Thank you all for joining, and hope to see you next week with Valorant and Ja telling you all about it. And find out if next week if he was able to obtain a beta code. So that's again a reason to join and see.
And if you can help us, please contact us.
Exactly.
We probably need help. I don't know how many hours I already watched.
Well, I don't know how much time I can take more of watching other people play Valorant without being able to play it myself.
Thank you.
Anyway, guys, thank you for joining. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Take good care of yourself.